Welcome to another deep dive. You know, I love getting lost in these fascinating topics, and I can't wait to share today's with you.
Always up for an adventure, especially when it comes to exploring these incredible sources.
Exactly. Today we're diving deep into Al-Kafi to explore the aura and power of Shia Imams, witnessing truth.
Sounds intriguing.
Right. I mean, Al-Kafi is such a cornerstone of Shia Islam, compiled by Al-Kulaini, such a prominent scholar.
And thinking about the historical context blows my mind. He was a contemporary of the four special representatives of Imam al-Mahdi, alayhi salam.
Wow, yeah. That connection just adds another layer of depth to his work.
Absolutely. It's like we're holding a piece of history in our hands.
You know, one of the first things that jumped out at me in Al-Kafi was this concept of al-Jafr.
Al-Jaf.
Yeah, have you ever heard of it? It's described as this mysterious container passed down through generations.
I don't think so.
Well, it's supposed to hold the secrets of the prophets, Alayhum Salam, and their successors.
Wow, that's incredible. Like a hidden library of sacred knowledge.
Right. It even mentions ancient Israelite scholars. Imagine that.
Talk about a long lineage. You know, this really speaks to a bigger theme in Shia Islam, the importance placed on knowledge.
Absolutely. It's not just about facts and figures. It's about inheritance, passing the torch from one generation to the next.
That's beautifully put.
But it does make you wonder, what kind of knowledge are we talking about here?
It's true. Al-Kafi doesn't go into specifics about what's actually in Al-Jaf.
Right.
I mean, part of its allure is the mystery. But what it does do is explore the very nature of intelligence itself.
Okay, how so?
Well, it actually describes intelligence and ignorance as the first creations of Allah.
Whoa. Hold on. So intelligence and ignorance are like beings.
Yeah. Al-Kafi personifies them as these figures standing on the right and left of the throne.
Okay, now that's a story I haven't heard before. So what happens next?
Well, Allah commands both intelligence and ignorance to move back and forth.
Oh.
And intelligence, being obedient and eager, complies, but ignorance, stubborn and fixed, refuses to budge.
Wow. So right from their creation, intelligence is linked to action, to seeking, while ignorance is stuck.
Exactly. It's a powerful metaphor, isn't it?
It really is. And, you know, it makes me think about how much we limit ourselves when we refuse to even try to move forward.
It's so true. We get comfortable in our ignorance.
Yeah, exactly. And it connects to the role of the Imams, Alayhum Salam, as depicted in Al-Kafi.
Oh, so?
Well, they embody this active intelligence, always seeking deeper understanding and guiding others towards it.
Right. They're not passive figures just waiting around.
Exactly. And this leads us to those incredible stories in Al-Kafi, you know, those glimpses into the captivating power of the Imams, Alayhum Salam.
Oh, yes. We pick 4 stories that showcase their wisdom, their insights, even their seemingly supernatural abilities.
Because it's not just about miracles, it's about understanding their depth of connection to truth.
Right. It's about something much deeper.
So the first story that really captivated me was about the man from Baghdad and Musa ibn Jafar, alayhi salam. This man travels all the way to Medina seeking guidance. But before he can even speak, Musa ibn Jafar, alayhi salam, sees right through him.
Wow. What did he say?
He says, and I'm quoting directly from Al-Kafi here, "Would you order people to do good deeds and forget to do them yourselves even though you read the book?"
Oh, wow. Calling him out right there.
Yeah. Then he asks, "Why do you not think?" And quotes verses 39.20 and 2.44 from the Holy Quran.
Powerful stuff.
And then it gets even more mind-blowing because Musa ibn Jafar, alayhi salam, reveals specific details about this man's past, things no one else could know. I mean, how do you explain that?
It's an incredible display of insight, that's for sure.
It really makes you question what we understand about knowledge and perception.
Right. Like, is it divine intuition or some heightened awareness of everything? Al-Kafi doesn't give a clear answer, which honestly makes it even more fascinating.
I know. It's like those times when you meet someone and instantly know more about them than you logically should, but obviously on a whole other level.
Absolutely. And what's interesting is that the story doesn't focus on the man's reaction. It's all about Musa ibn Jafar's alayhi salam ability to see the truth and use that knowledge not to judge, but to guide.
There's this deep compassion in that moment.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really makes you reflect on the true purpose of knowledge, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about knowing. It's about using that understanding to help others.
Beautifully said.
And, you know, this focus on guidance, on using knowledge to uplift others, is a constant theme in the stories about the Imams, alayhum salam.
It really is a common thread.
Shall we move on to the next story then?
Sure.
This one is about dates, which might sound a little mundane at first.
Dates. Okay, I'm intrigued.
Trust me, it's anything but mundane.
Uh-huh.
This one features Ahmad ibn Muhammad, a scholar known for his vast knowledge.
Okay.
But he had this habit of claiming to know everything.
A little arrogant.
Yeah, maybe a bit. And it's in this context that he encounters Al-Hasan ibn Ali, alayhi salam.
Oh, so I bet Al-Hasan ibn Ali, alayhi salam, put his knowledge to the test.
You know it. He picks up a handful of date pits, just a seemingly insignificant detail,
Okay.
and asks Ahmad, how many are there?
Now that's interesting.
Ahmad, confident as ever, immediately declares there are 17 date pits.
Yeah.
Al-Hasan ibn Ali, alayhi salam, without even counting, reveals there were actually 18.
No way. So he just knew.
Right. It's like he could see beyond the physical into the essence of things.
That's incredible. It really makes you question what it truly means to know something.
I know. This simple story has so many layers.
It does. It also teaches us a lesson in humility. Even the most learned among us can be wrong, and true knowledge requires us to be open to learning and admitting when we don't know something.
It's a lesson a lot of people could use these days.
Seriously, everyone thinks they're an expert.
But this story reminds us that true knowledge is about the journey, the pursuit, the constant striving to understand.
Couldn't agree more.
It's about recognizing that we don't have all the answers, and that's okay. So speaking of journeys, our next story takes us on a rather unexpected ride. This one involves a stubborn mule and an abbasid caliph, no less.
A mule and a caliph, what could go wrong?
It's the story of Al-Mustan and his uncontrollable mule. It almost feels like a fable.
Interesting. What stood out to you about it? It's the contrast that gets me. You have this powerful caliph, completely helpless, can't even control a mule.
Right. It's almost comical.
And then the Imam, alayhi salam, arrives and boom, instant calm.
It's like some kind of animal whispering superpower.
Well, it wasn't force or tricks. It was something deeper.
You know, when I first read this, I thought magic. But the more I think about it, the more I see it as a metaphor.
A metaphor for what?
For the kind of leadership Al-Kafi is highlighting.
Yeah.
It's not about outward authority, but a quiet inner strength.
Right. It's like the Imam, alayhi salam, embodies a stillness, a wisdom that brings order to chaos.
And that connects back to the idea of knowledge in Al-Kafi. It's not just facts. It's how that knowledge shapes you.
How it empowers you to handle challenges with grace.
Yeah. Exactly. So speaking of challenges, our next story is a real adventure. This one's about Abdullah ibn Razin and the guards of Salih ibn Wasif.
Oh, yes. This one's like a spy thriller.
Okay, remind me. What's the setup?
Abdullah is traveling and gets stopped by these guards. They demand to know his identity.
And that's a problem because
openly declaring his allegiance to the Imams, alayhi salam, could be really dangerous.
right. So what does he do?
He turns to the Imam, alayhi salam, for guidance. But here's the thing. The Imam, alayhi salam, is miles away.
But he still manages to help.
It's incredible. The story says the Imam, alayhi salam, appears beside Abdullah out of nowhere, whispers instructions on how to deal with the guards.
Okay, now that is some serious divine intervention.
And then, poof, just like that, he vanishes.
It makes you question everything you thought you knew about time and space.
Right. How is that even possible?
Al-Kafi leaves it open to interpretation, but it emphasizes the Imam's alayhi salam connection to his followers, his ability to guide even across vast distances.
It speaks to a bond that goes beyond the physical.
It's like this invisible thread connecting them. It makes you wonder, what are the limits of that connection? What else is possible?
That's what I love about these stories. They invite us to explore those possibilities, to broaden our understanding of faith and spirituality.
We've only scratched the surface with these 4 stories, but they give us a glimpse into the Imams, Alayhum Salam, don't they? They're not just figures of authority. They embody wisdom, compassion, this otherworldly connection to truth.
It's true. They go beyond just a title or a role.
And what's amazing is how Al-Kafi doesn't stop at just telling these stories. It goes deeper, exploring the foundation of their knowledge and leadership.
Right. It provides context and depth.
There's this beautiful hadith from Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, alayhi salam, where he says that the true authority of Allah over people is the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Yeah.
And the link between Allah and people is intelligence.
That's profound. It suggests that the Imams, alayhum salam, are more than just leaders. They embody a connection between the human and the divine, a conduit for knowledge and guidance.
Exactly. And this connection is emphasized even further when Al-Kafi links the Imams, alayhum salam, to creation itself.
Oh, how so?
Have you ever thought about Laylat al-Qadr, the night of determination, as more than just a single event?
I'll admit I always saw it as the night the Quran was revealed.
Historically significant, but a one-time thing, right?
Yeah.
But Al-Kafi presents this incredible idea that Laylat al-Qadr isn't confined to the past.
Okay, I'm listening.
According to Imam Muhammad al-Baqir, alayhi salam,
Hmm.
Allah decreed that every year would have a night where divine knowledge and authority are bestowed upon a chosen individual.
So it's like a yearly renewal of divine guidance.
It changes everything, doesn't it?
It reframes Laylan al-Qadr as this ongoing process, a constant flow of divine wisdom.
And that flow, according to Al-Kafi, goes from Allah to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then to the Imams, Alayhum Salam.
Wow, it's like this continuous thread connecting heaven and earth.
So if we're talking about this constant revelation, does that mean the Imams, Alayhum Salam, were still learning, even with all their knowledge?
Yeah, absolutely. There's another hadith in Al-Kafi from Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, alayhi salam. It describes a special event every Friday night.
Okay. What happens?
He says that the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Imam and Sallam ascend to the throne of Allah.
Wow.
Their souls reunite with their bodies, but only after receiving new knowledge.
So even they are constantly seeking, constantly evolving.
Exactly. And Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, alayhi salam, specifically mentions it's knowledge they wouldn't have otherwise known.
It shows that seeking knowledge is lifelong, even for those closest to Allah.
It's humbling, isn't it?
It really is. But we have to remember, knowledge isn't just theoretical.
Right. It's not just about having the information.
Al-Kafi emphasizes putting knowledge into practice, using it to guide our actions and help others.
It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. There's a hadith in Al-Kafi where Imam Ali alayhi salam says, intelligence is a complete cover, protection for one, and extra knowledge and skills are evident beauty. Compensate your physical shortcomings with your extra knowledge and skills. Fight your desires with help from your intelligence, and in so doing, friendship is surrendered to, and love becomes manifest for you.
That's a powerful statement. It highlights the strength of intellect using our understanding to overcome our desires.
It's about channeling our emotions through knowledge and wisdom.
And that's where the Imams, alayhum salam, are such powerful examples. They didn't just preach these principles, they lived them.
Their actions, as described in Al-Kafi, provide a practical guide for translating these teachings into our own lives.
It's like having a roadmap for navigating life's complexities.
But let's be real, life isn't always smooth sailing. How does Al-Kafi address those inevitable challenges?
It emphasizes patience. There's a hadith where Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, alayhi salam, reminds us that true believers will be tested.
We'll face trials and injustices.
But it's through those trials that our faith is refined and our character strengthened.
It's a message of resilience, isn't it?
It is. It's about not giving up, leaning on our faith and the guidance of the Imams, alayhum salam, to overcome obstacles.
It's incredibly reassuring, especially in today's world.
And this leads to another crucial concept in Al-Kafi, entrusting our affairs to Allah.
Surrendering to His will.
There is a hadith where Imam Jafar Sadiq, alayhi salam, says, leave your affairs to Allah and do not leave them to the people. Whatever would be for Allah, it will be for Him. Whatever would be for people, it will not be for Him.
It's about letting go of our anxieties and focusing on living righteously.
And finding peace in that surrender.
It's a beautiful message. So we've talked about the Imams, alayhum salam, as guides, as exemplars, as sources of knowledge. But Al-Kafi also explores something more mystical about them.
You're talking about the concept of the Imams, alayhum salam, as the light of Allah, right?
Exactly. There are several hadiths that describe them as emanating from divine light reflections of Allah's essence.
It's a powerful metaphor. It speaks to the Shia belief in their unique spiritual status.
There's a hadith from Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam that really captures this. He says, we are the people of Allah, the most majestic, the most gracious, through whom the bounties increase. Different groups become united and words receive harmony. You are His friends. Those who would love you, they achieve success, and those who would do injustice to you will vanish.
It's a declaration of their special role, not just as leaders, but as sources of blessing and unity.
But this light isn't limited to the Imams alayhum salam themselves, is it?
Right. What do you mean?
Al-Kafi suggests that this light can be reflected in the lives of their followers.
Oh, I see. So we can all embody that light.
There's an analogy in Al-Kafi that compares the Imams alayhum salam to the sun and their followers to the moon. Just as the moon reflects sunlight, we can reflect the light of the Imams alayhum salam.
That's beautiful. It suggests we all have the potential to be beacons of hope.
But to reflect that light, we need to stay connected to its source, the Imams alayhum salam.
By seeking their guidance, studying their teachings, and trying to live like they did.
So in essence, they're like spiritual compasses guiding us through darkness.
I like that. A compass leading us back to the source of light.
And Al-Kafi emphasizes this by stressing the importance of recognizing and acknowledging the Imams alayhi salam authority.
Right. It's not enough to just admire them from afar.
There are hadith that highlight the significance of believing in them and following their teachings as essential for spiritual growth.
It's about putting faith into action.
Exactly. There's a hadith where Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam states, whoever from the family of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would become an imam, he will warn people by means of the Holy Quran, just as the Messenger of Allah had done.
It positions them as carrying forward the Prophet's sallallahu alaihi wasallam mission.
Like a lineage of light, a continuous flow of wisdom.
But it's not just about intellectually accepting their authority, it's about living it.
Right. It's about embodying their teachings in our daily lives.
In our actions, relationships, and pursuit of knowledge.
And those captivating stories we discussed earlier, those glimpses into their extraordinary abilities, those weren't just for entertainment.
What were they for then?
They serve as a testament to the power and wisdom the Imams, Alayhum Salam, possessed. They inspire us to strive for similar heights in our own spiritual journeys.
It's like they're showing us what's possible when we align ourselves with divine light with their wisdom.
This has been such an incredible exploration of Al-Kafi and the captivating power of the Imams, Alayhum Salam. We've covered so much, but there's still more to discover.
Al-Kafi is a vast ocean of knowledge, and we've only dipped our toes in.
Stay tuned, because in the next segment, we'll dive into the challenges and rewards of seeking knowledge in a world often clouded by darkness and doubt. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been uncovering this incredible portrait of the Imams, Alayhum Salam, as these beacons of light guiding us towards truth.
Figures of immense wisdom and compassion.
But as we go deeper into Al-Kafi, we hit this interesting paradox.
What do you mean?
Well, seeking knowledge is presented as both a virtue and a path filled with challenges, even dangers.
It's true, Al-Kafi doesn't shy away from the complexities.
Not at all. In fact, there are hadiths warning against approaching knowledge with the wrong intentions or from unreliable sources.
It's like saying, watch out who you're learning from and why you even want to learn in the first place.
Right. It makes you think about all the misinformation we face today.
It's more important than ever to be discerning about our sources and our own motivations.
Absolutely. And thankfully, Al-Kafi offers guidance on this.
How so?
Well, there's this hadith from Imam Ali, alayhi salam, where he talks about 3 types of knowledge seekers.
Okay, I'm listening.
The first seeks knowledge just to argue and cause disputes.
Not exactly a noble pursuit.
The second seeks knowledge to gain power over others.
Also not ideal.
But the third type, the one Imam Ali alayhi salam praises, seeks knowledge for understanding, for gaining spiritual insight, and for benefiting themselves and others.
So it's about the purpose behind seeking knowledge.
It's about using knowledge for good, for growth, for connection.
It shouldn't be about ego or causing division.
Right. But let's face it, seeking knowledge wasn't just an internal battle back then.
You're talking about the historical context.
Yeah, Al-Kafi was compiled during a time of real danger.
Absolutely. Sharing knowledge could have serious consequences.
There are stories of scholars being imprisoned, threatened, even killed for their beliefs.
Remember that hadith where the death of a scholar is described as the death most beloved by Satan?
Because their knowledge dies with them. It's chilling, but it highlights the incredible courage of those who kept these teachings alive.
They risked everything to preserve and transmit this wisdom.
And despite the dangers, Al-Kafi still encourages the pursuit of knowledge.
It does more than that. It highlights the incredible rewards waiting for those who persevere.
It's not just about facing the darkness, it's about the light that shines through.
There are hadiths that describe the blessings and elevated status bestowed upon those who sincerely seek knowledge.
Like the one where Imam Jafar as-Sadiq alayhi salam says that even a small amount of money spent in pursuit of knowledge.
Yes. He says Allah will reward that by making it as large as Mount Uhud on the Day of Judgment.
Imagine that. Talk about recognizing the value of seeking knowledge.
It's not just about material rewards either.
Right. It's about the inner transformation.
How knowledge can elevate our souls, refine our character, and bring us closer to Allah.
It's about the awakening that happens when we see knowledge not just as information, but as a path to truth.
And these rewards extend outwards, too.
You mean when others benefit from our pursuit of knowledge?
Exactly. When we live righteously because of what we've learned, it inspires those around us.
It's like the analogy of scholars being lighthouses guiding others through the darkness.
I love that analogy. It shows how interconnected we are, how our individual journeys contribute to a collective awakening.
This has been such an incredible exploration of Al-Kafi and the power and complexity of knowledge.
I feel like we've only scratched the surface.
We have. But we've gained valuable insights into the sacrifices made to preserve these teachings and the dedication of those who continue to seek and share them today.
It's a reminder that this pursuit of knowledge isn't just history. It's a living process shaping our lives and communities.
As we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought from Al-Kafi. We've talked about seeking knowledge from reliable sources.
Qualified scholars, those who have dedicated their lives to understanding.
But Al-Kafi also emphasizes personal reflection, looking inwards for the truth within each of us.
That internal journey is so important.
There's a hadith where Imam Ali, alayhi salam, says, "He who knows himself knows his Lord."
It reminds us that seeking knowledge begins within ourselves.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Al-Kafi and the captivating power of the Imams, Alayhum Salam. We hope you've gained a renewed appreciation for the enduring power of knowledge and truth.
My God, since you have shielded me with your covering and not exposed me, waited patiently for me through your generosity and not hurried me to punishment, and shown me clemency through your bounty, and not changed your favor upon me or muddied your kindly acts toward me, have mercy on my drawn-out pleading, my intense misery, and my evil situation. O God, bless Muhammad and his household, protect me from acts of disobedience, employ me in obedience, provide me with excellent turning back to you, purify me through repentance, strengthen me through preservation from sin, set me right through well-being, let me taste the sweetness of forgiveness, make me the freedman of your pardon and the slave released by your mercy, and write for me a security from your displeasure. Give me the good news of that in the immediate, not the deferred, a good news I recognize, and make known to me therein a sign which I may clearly see, that will not constrain you in your plenty, distress you in your power, ascend beyond your lack of haste, or tire you in your great gifts, which are pointed to by your signs. Verily you do what you will, you decree what you desire, you are powerful over everything.